Okay, hello everybody. Welcome back to my channel today. I'm Kevin and welcome back to my second word topic. Today, our topic is about the Operations Barbarossa, the one of the biggest things that Hitler used to make on his former allies, the Soviet Union. Today, we are going to talk about how that Hitler's betrayed the Soviet Union and tried to attack and nearly success in invading the Soviet Union until they get into a defense position at the end of the 1941. So, on the dot of June 22, 1941, the greatest invasion in the history of the world began. Its name was called the Operation of Barbarossa. 3 million German troops and thousands of tanks and planes poured over the Soviet border. They intended to conquer the world's largest country by the end of the summer, and they nearly did it. Hitler was so confident about his success, he bragged to his general, "We have only to kick in the door and the whole rotten structure will come crashing down." On that June day, three German army groups, the center, the north, and the south, struck out for Leningrad, Moscow, and the Ukraine. The German armies moved forward rapidly, employing the blitzkrieg tactic that had won them easily victories in France and other countries, including Britain. Stalin himself was so stunned by the attack, and the Soviet troops were totally disorganized because I mean, their commanders could never imagine a day that their former ally betrayed them so ruthlessly. So, in some parts of the Soviet Union, there is some, special place that the Germans were welcomed as liberators by the citizens. Even when the citizens came from the Soviet Union, they were hated and having a lot of resistance for their own government. So when the Germany comes, they look at the soldiers like the righteous one, which would make their futures brighter. But of course, this welcome soon turned into great arrogance and brutality. And of course, it's because the cruelty and also the arrogance that the German soldiers brought to the citizens of the Soviet. So the warm welcome after that changed into the hostility and strong resistance from the later part of the war. The war was not won by the end of the summer, but Leningrad was peace, and by early October, German soldiers had reached the suburbs of Moscow. They were so close that they could see the Kremlin's famous golden domes, but the first snow of winter had fallen. An autumn rain had turned rose to slush, and because of his confidence about a speedy victory, Hitler never prepared for his armies to fight until winter, nor they have enough supplies to hold on until that. Supplies were running out, and men were weary from 4 months fighting. But beside the weather's problem, there was something else too, even more significant. That, as one of the German soldiers said, in spite of the distance we were advancing, there was no feeling, as there had been in France, the feeling of enter into a defeated nation. Instead of that, it was resistance, always resistance. However, they are just hopeless. At this early stage of the war, the Russians had lost a phenomenal 2.5 million men, as well as over 20,000 artillery guns and 18,000 tanks, and further than that is 14,000 aircraft. But still, they fought on. Hitler received some reports of mounting Soviet resistance, and he said that the Russians fight with a truly stupid fanaticism. He threatened. So, in an ironic twist of fate, the Nazis' cruelty united the Russian people in a way that their communist leader never could. To millions of Russians, the struggle against the Germans became a great patriotic war, and they connect with each other, place to place, cities to cities. The citizens and armies becomes one, fighting, beside each other to take care and protect their own homeland. And on December 6th in 1941, in the temperatures of -60 degrees, first Soviet troops launched an attack on the German army in the outskirts of Moscow. The exhausted Germans, after the countless time of fighting, withdrew a little, then turned into the strong defensive position. And at that time, they were planning to further assault in the spring so that they could put this exhausting war to an end. And of course, there's a bonus for some of you guys who don't really know that Hitler lose while making this. Yeah, Hitler lose by trying to work out with the winter. All right, but if I'm not sure, I didn't talk too deep into that topic right now because I'm not so sure that he lost in the Soviet Union or somewhere else because yeah, that part is just stay out of my range right now. But of course, we'll soon come into that topic in the future. And now I think that's time for us to say goodbye then. So this is the end of my video today. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.